So far, we've been talking about how to blend the members of a big band into a tight, swinging ensemble. But the real magic happens when those ensembles become a springboard for creative, spontaneous, improvised solos. In this final section, we'd like to throw out a few suggestions for developing improvisers.
From ancient music to the latest guitar solo on the radio, improvisation has always been a vital part of the human musical experience. One of the many important influences which brought about jazz improvisation was the call and response form of music originated by African Americans in the 1800s. Here's an example of how this has been adapted to the jazz idiom. You may have noticed that we were playing over a blues form during that clip. The blues has had a profound effect on jazz improvisation. Listen to this. Because much of the style can't be notated, it's very important to listen to recordings of jazz greats. This is the only way to absorb the necessary elements of style. For an extensive list of jazz greats, check out the companion guide to this video. When doing your listening, listen with a purpose. Work hard to remember the ideas or licks you've heard your favorite musicians play. As you gain experience, you will occasionally want to transcribe a solo from a recording. Transcribing involves writing down exactly what is performed in the solo and analyzing the artist's approach to the tune. Learning to play it exactly as it was performed is like jumping into the mind of a jazz great. You may be saying, now that I'll be able to get the styles down, how am I supposed to learn to improvise? Unfortunately, there's no quick route. An important first step is to begin scat singing. Scat singing is basically just copying what you've heard on recordings with your voice. It can help you build phrases that feel good without having to worry about the notes. If you can sing a phrase that feels good, you'll be one step closer to playing it. Because when it comes right down to it, it's most important for what you're playing to feel good. Kind of like this. You can scat sing while driving in the car, scat whistle while walking, or hear the ideas silently in your head. Scat an idea and then try playing it on your instrument. It doesn't matter when you practice your scat singing, just do it.
Jazz improvisation is communication. You can't communicate through speech unless you know the words and speak the language. The same is true with improvisation. In the jazz language, being able to play major scales throughout the range of your instrument is similar to knowing your alphabet. This will eventually allow you to tell a story while improvising. Chords in jazz are based on the major and harmonic minor scales. Let's take a look at how these are used. Most of you are already familiar with the concept of jazz chords or changes. You are now viewing the changes for Sat and Doll. What do they mean? Here's how to figure them out. This is the C major scale. Many of the chords in jazz are derived directly from the major scale. Let's take a look. We begin by stacking thirds above the roots of each note in the scale. We continue to do this until we have 4-note chords for each of the 7 notes of the major scale. These are called the diatonic 7th chords for the major scale. Now you see the properties of each of these chords. You should write out all 12 major scales for reference and practicing. Although the note names change, the properties are the same, no matter which major scale you use to do this exercise. In other words, the 1 chord is always a major 7, the 2 chord a minor 7, and so on. When writing out the other scales in this manner, make sure you write in every sharp or flat in front of each note found in the key signature, as you see in the examples on the screen. Now listen to the rhythm section and try to hear some solo ideas over what they're playing. Approximately 99% of the time, when you encounter a minor chord in a set of changes, it is considered a 2 chord from those diatonic 7ths. Also, when you encounter a dominant 7th chord right after a minor chord, it is considered a 5 chord from the same scale. Now let's look at the first 2 measures. Guess what? It's one of those 2-5 changes in the same key. What is the key signature of that particular scale? No sharps and no flats, right? Because if the D minor 7 chord is the 2 and the G7 is the 5, then C is the 1. Now look at the 3rd and 4th measure, E minor 7 to A7. A 2-5 in what key? 2 sharps. Remember, if E minor 7 is the 2, then D is the 1. Now analyze the rest of the changes with your newfound knowledge. This completely analyzed version can be found in the companion guide to this video. Once you've analyzed any new tune, you must practice it. There exists computer software that can be easily set to provide a rhythm section background for any song at any tempo. Some other excellent resources are the play-along recordings listed in the companion guide. We also encourage you to get together with your rhythm section whenever possible. The key to learning to improvise is to take it slowly. If you don't have access to these materials, you can work with just your metronome. Be sure that you set the tempo no faster than 100 beats per minute. Stick with the normal tempo for ballads since it's usually under 100. Practice your improvisation by choosing any tune and listening to a jazz artist perform it. Now focus on the melody and then the roots of the chords through playing a bass line. Connect the 3rds and the 7ths to create half-note guide tone lines. And finally, just play what you hear. This is a great spot to incorporate ideas you have acquired through transcription and scat singing. This format is also included in the companion guide. Be very careful to play with good time and with a good sound. You now have the tools to begin your journey towards becoming a knowledgeable and creative improviser. We wish you luck on your journey.
We hope you've enjoyed this look inside the big band, and hopefully you've picked up a few insights you can use in your playing and listening. If you have any questions or comments, we'd love to hear from you, so feel free to write us at the address on your screen. We also encourage you to visit our website. Remember, that's where you want to go to download the big band chart and booklet that go with this video. In fact, you might want to bookmark that website and go back every once in a while to check out our tour itinerary. We really would like to see you next time we play in your area. Until then, keep on swinging.
3 days of snow back in Birmingham, and I thought you were wondering where I am. So I dialed our number all night long, and I got no comfort on the telephone. Ran out, booked me a midnight flight. I thought a little love might make everything alright. Landlord told me that you moved away. Yes, you left me all of your bills to pay. Look out, baby, I think you made the move too soon. casino cards, and I found out life in Vegas sure ain't hard. So I ran things up to about 50 grand, and then I cashed it in and held it high in my hand. This kind of word sure can't get around and make a lost lover become found. I had you knocking last night on my door. Well, I changed my locks. You don't live here no more. Too bad, too bad. I think you made your move too soon. I've been to Spain, I've been to Tokyo, I've been to Africa, been to Ohio. I ain't one to get in the news, but I'm just a woman that you gave the blues. Take my love anywhere. Come back next year to find out they still care. I got one love ahead, I got a love behind, I got one on my arm and one always on my mind. Too bad, too bad. I think you made your move too soon. Too bad, baby.